The influence of English vocabulary on the formation of modern Russian youth slang. Гришаева Елизавета, Святская Евгения. Introduction. The relevance of the project is due to the fact that modern Russian youth slang is a dynamic system that is constantly changing and enriched with new words and expressions. English is one of the main sources of this enrichment. English words and phrases penetrate the Russian language in various fields, and youth slang is no exception. Objective. To study the influence of English vocabulary on the formation of modern Russian youth slang. Materials and methods. To study this topic, we decided to use such sources as the Internet Computer Network, social networks of modern Russian youth, English dictionaries, for example, Cambridge Dictionary, Collins Online Dictionary, and Macmillan Dictionary. Results. We have studied the most popular social networks of Russian youth and identified a direct link between English vocabulary and modern Russian slang. Young Russians use Anglicisms in their speech on a regular basis. They began to penetrate the Russian language at the turn of the 18th, 19th centuries, but their influx into their vocabulary remained insignificant until the 1990s. At that time, the intensive process of borrowing words began, for which there were no corresponding concepts in the cognitive base of Russian language. The slang of modern youth in Russia now is the constant desire of teenagers to involve as many foreign words as possible in their speech. They use English vocabulary in communication with peers and parents, and also post video on social networks, where you can notice a large number of Anglicisms. Now there are even educational websites on the internet where teenagers create dictionaries of young slang and explain the meaning of borrowed words. The mechanism of borrowing from English into Russian is quite simple. All Russian teenagers study English at school, they learn vocabulary and add it to their speech, thereby mixing the two languages. Sometimes they discreetly take the word as it exists in English and use it. For example, the word respect. Russian modern youth uses it in direct translation. Liza won a basketball competition, Liza respect, which means уважение. Also, borrowing occurs by adding morphemes. For example, the word to save, which means засейвить. In English, young people add morphemes to it and use it as a verb in their speech. I almost lost, but he saved me. Teenagers like to use English in conversations, so every year there is more and more slang. Conclusion. The borrowing of English words began a long time ago. Anglicisms exist in all spheres of society, but now their influence has increased. Teenagers use them a lot, which is particular does not let us understand what they are talking about. On the one hand, this is good because it helps them learn a foreign language, but on the other hand, it can threaten to weaken vocabulary and speech literacy.